Hello and welcome to BizNation, your home for micro and small business help. Join us as we unpack all the pain points in starting or running your small business. If you're looking for support in business, join us on Facebook, Micro and Small Business Support Group. Your host, Kerry Zarb, brings you discussions, interviews, and many hints and tips to get you all set in your business. So sit back and enjoy as we launch into today's episode.
A massive welcome to our listeners. Thanks for joining the BizNation podcast. If it's your first time listening, I'm glad you've found us and I'm happy to have you here. For our regular listeners, a huge welcome back to you. In today's episode, I'm super excited to have the lovely Clare Wood joining us. Clare is a business coach, a numbers nerd from a former life of being a CPA. She's a mum of 2 boys, a wife and of a super supportive hubby, wine drinker, gym junkie, traveller, podcaster, blogger, and just loves reality TV. A massive welcome to you, Clare.
Oh, thanks so much, Kerry. I was just listening and thinking the traveling part is not really happening a lot at the moment with the coronavirus lockdowns going on.
No, definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask you about the gym junkie side. So how have you coped with not having a gym at the moment?
Oh, I'm struggling, truthfully. I have to say all of my clothes have shrunk a little bit in lockdown because the gyms aren't quite letting people back in yet. But once they reopen, I can't wait to get back in. I still do my family walk every day. So me and the kids and hubby go for an hour walk every morning. But I definitely miss the gym. It's just
Yeah.
so good for you. It makes you feel happy. So yeah, missing it for now, but won't be long.
Yeah, I think it's not far away. Yeah, it's only like a week or 2 away.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
cool. All right, well, let's get stuck into a few things. I've got some questions that I wanted to ask you. First of all, I'll start with what is a business coach? Can you explain what a business coach is for the listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, essentially, a business coach is someone that's helping you to grow your business or helping you with some area of your business. So, different business coaches do different things. I can only really talk about what I do with my clients, which will probably be different to what other business coaches do. But at the end of the day, people hire a coach because they want someone to cheer them on and to help them improve. It's like hiring a football coach, I guess. It's someone that's going to cheer you on, help you with some practical skills, and be there to support you on your journey.
Excellent. So, who would who should consider having a business coach for their business? I guess the answer is broad and probably everybody should, but is there a particular stage in business that we get to where we should think about having a business coach?
Look, I think you hit the nail on the head with what you opened with, that I think everyone should have a business coach. I have to confess, I went through a period of time, probably a good 12 months without having a coach. I just couldn't find the right fit. And now that I'm working with a coach again, I am kicking myself that I took such a long break because I've just seen leaps and bounds happen in my business again since reinvesting. At different stages of your business, it's obviously going to be appropriate to work with different people. I have a specialization. I usually work with 6-figure entrepreneurs who are looking down that 7-figure mark. And I've got an area of specialties in service-based businesses. So I think it's really about finding a coach that's the right fit for you at the right stage of your business journey. Obviously, the kind of person that you want to work with as you get bigger is going to change. And obviously your capacity to invest as well is going to change as your business revenue grows. So I think that everyone should have a coach. And I'm not just saying that because I am a coach. I genuinely believe if you find the right person, it will be transformational for your business. Lots of people I speak to have had a bad experience with a coach, maybe multiple bad experiences. But when you find the right one, you'll suddenly get the aha moment. And sometimes it might mean you have to try a few different ones. But I definitely think everyone needs one. Make sure that you pick a coach that's relevant for you at the stage of business that you're at, and that helps the kind of people, helps the kind of businesses that you run. And yeah, hopefully that's answered the question.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. I think one of the things that you mentioned before was, kind of with business coaches and at different stages, or even just honing in on certain sections of your business. So you may not need, I'm guessing from what you've said, you may not need a coach for the overall umbrella of your business. It might be just something that you're particularly stuck on. Is that correct?
Oh, 100%. I mean, sometimes I have said to clients of mine, you really need a sales coach. You need someone who's a specialist in the area of sales to hone in on that area. Um, to me, I think that having an overarching, like having someone who's a coach to support you on your journey, is just really, it can be a game changer, like I said. So think about the areas that you really need support in, and then find someone that has those skill sets and that experience as well to be able to support you in that part of your business.
Yeah, that makes sense. But also, there's obviously business coaches out there that do the whole umbrella as well. They'll help you hone in. Like, I guess it's a process that you go through with a business coach, is to find those pain point areas that you do need the help with. So it's definitely like a good relationship to build with the right person to find what you're looking for, even.
Yeah, definitely. And when you say that, they work on the whole thing, every coach is going to have areas that they specialize in, even if they don't realize it. So, for example, I'm a qualified accountant by trade. I'm super passionate about numbers and about profit. And that's a big thing that I really work on with clients of mine. Other coaches might be, experts in a particular area of marketing. A coach is meant to support you overall with your business, but some people will have strengths in some areas and others will have strengths in other areas. An example, a client of mine recently said that she used to work with a coach who was a real creative type, and she actually used to do design components for her. And so obviously I'm a really different coach to a previous coach, because I'm highly, rooted in the numbers and highly practical. The coach that I work with, she's, again, a business coach. She works overall, but a big strength of hers is in like the spiritual space. She's very much into teaching you skills that, help you to manifest things. And that's really an area that I really wanted to lean into in my business. So it's just about finding someone that complements the areas that you do need support in.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into my next question. How do we assess if a coach is right for us? Like, is there a process that you recommend to go down that path?
Yeah. So I believe that there's two components when it comes to decision making, right? There's the logical or the rational side, and then there's the emotive side. You you have to make your decision based with both of these coming into play, because it might be someone you're like, oh, that person's amazing, they're super nice. Maybe they don't get results for people. Maybe they don't have any experience as a coach and they can be a lovely person and you really like their energy, but they don't have a track record of delivering the results that you're chasing. Equally, you could have someone that is, you know, gets these incredible results, but you just don't like them.
Yeah.
And I think that when you're picking a coach, it really is such an intimate relationship. It has to be someone that you trust, that you get along with, that you like, and you like their vibe, you like their energy. And again, that's going to be different for everyone. I am definitely not the right coach for everyone. I've got my areas of strength when it comes to my actual, my strategy and my teaching style. And equally, my vibe isn't going to gel with everyone. And that's totally fine. So if you are trying to find a coach, I would suggest, firstly, think about the areas that you need help in and really go, okay, this is something I really need support with. I really need to up-level my marketing. I really need to work on my mindset, or I really need to, get stuck into my numbers. I really need some support, getting some practical advice there. Then start to just follow different coaches is what I'd say. Go out there, follow them on Instagram, sign up for their newsletters, listen to their podcasts. And some people are going to grate on you, or you won't sort of see the value in what they're delivering, and other people will really resonate with you and you'll just lean into their content. Sometimes there are ways, like for example, with me, there's ways that you can work with me without, going and making that big investment. Like, you can join my membership, which is a great way to sort of still have access to be working with a coach. Most coaches will have e-products that you can download or little mini courses that you can sign up and try out and see if they are the right fit before you take that leap. But that's the process that I would suggest to go through. It's really, firstly, think about what you need. Then from a logical perspective, does this person have a track record? Have they delivered results before? What do people say about them? And then, do you like them? Do you like their energy? Do you like their vibe? And yeah, then take the step, have a conversation, do a course, or sign up and start working with them.
So it's really a something we should take time to do. It's not something to rush into. There's a bit of homework that you need to do before you take that leap, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, when I say that, some of my clients say, I heard one podcast episode with you and had to work with you. So for some people, the decision-making process is really fast. They've still gone through it. They've still identified what their skill shortage was. They've said, yup, I love that energy. And they're ready to commit and make that decision. I worked with a client last year, and she'd followed me for nearly 4 years
Oh,
before
wow.
she made the leap. So she'd listened to all these different episodes of podcasts. She'd read on my blog. She knew so much about me and my style before we actually worked together. So everyone's going to have a different journey that they take to make that decision.
Yeah.
For me, I sort of don't sit on things for too long. If it feels right and from a logical sense it makes right, I leap. But that's me, that's my style, and you need to do what works for you. But I think that the sooner that you start working with the right person, the sooner you'll start seeing the results.
Yeah, exactly. And what can we expect to get out of a business coach? What's give me some examples of transformations that you've seen, and obviously not the specifics, but what could we expect if we do take the plunge?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, every coach is different, and I can only speak from my experience. So clients come to me for a number of reasons. It's not surprisingly always that they want to make more money. A lot of times people come to me because they're burnt out, they're just exhausted, and they want to learn some tools and strategies for filling out a team or creating an online program or coming up with ways to make money in an easier way. So sometimes it's about literally removing some of the stress. I'm really numbers focused. So I love to, even if that's part of the story, I really love to help people grow their results. Some examples, I want to run through a couple of the examples of clients that I'm working with right now that might be some examples. And again, something I want to be really clear about here too. I never guarantee results for my clients, and no business coach should. If someone is guaranteeing you results, I would run 100 miles because everyone's going to get different results. There's so many things that as a coach I can't control. I can't control what gets implemented in a business. I can't control the wider environment. So it's not possible to guarantee results. But the majority of my clients do see some pretty amazing transformations. So not guaranteed for everyone, but most people generally do. So at the moment, I'm working with a client. When we first worked together, she was working like crazy, doing a couple of things in her job that she didn't really love. And I said, hey, let's just completely restructure your business. And she freaked. She's like, there is no way I could not do this work. I won't make any money. She's now doing only work that she loves, and she has tripled her revenue.
Wow.
Tripled her revenue. And she's become a raving fan of mine, which I love. I have another client of mine similar. She was working really hard, doing work she didn't love, and we've repivoted her digital agency. She's now working in almost a different kind of area, and she's consistently achieving $30,000 months. So she's grown probably 20 to 30% since we've been working together.
Nice.
But she's doing work that she enjoys, and she's just a lot stressed, and she's a lot less stressed, and she's got more time to go and focus on another passion project of hers.
Mhm.
Let me see. Another client of mine unfortunately got hit pretty bad by COVID. She has a physical a physical based business. So we transitioned her business to an online business, and
Yeah.
she's now created this online arm for her business. And now that things are opening back up again, she'll have this revenue stream that is completely scalable. We've been working a lot on her numbers and getting her to learn to love her numbers inside her business. And she's really confident that we'll be able to get some growth in her numbers, once she's able to reopen again. Oh my goodness, I've got so many great stories. I've got another client of mine. The first call, I remember that she showed up to our Zoom call and she just looked spent. She
Oh,
was just she just looked exhausted. And I think she was quite nervous about working with a coach. She shared that her husband was a bit unsure about making the investment into a coach. I think it was our third call. She showed up and I said, "You look different." She said, "I feel like a different person."
oh wow.
What we did was we filled out her team. We took a lot of stress and workload off her. And I really challenged her thinking around how things are done in business. And she said to me on, I think it was our third or fourth call, she said, "My husband said this is the best money we've ever spent on my business."
Oh,
And that for me, just, I've got goosebumps even just thinking about it. It feels such an honor to be able to support people in that way. So those are a couple of examples that I can think of off the top of my head of people that I'm working with at the moment. Obviously, everyone gets different results. Everyone's chasing different results. But when you have someone with you looking at things from an outside lens, some magic can really start to happen because they can put strategies in place and say, "Hey, why don't we try this?" Or "Let's think about this differently." They can help you. A big thing I love to do is work with my clients on their mindset around pricing, around the capacity, around their possibilities if they open their mind to it. So, yeah, that's a little about some results that have been achieved with some of my current clients at the moment.
excellent. And you said something before that resonated with me, like you don't guarantee the results that your client's going to get out of working with you. And I think that's really important to touch on for a moment because it's a two-way street. Like you're there to help and support and guide the client. But if they put up the walls and they aren't open to the change that you're recommending, that can really hinder that service.
Oh, absolutely. And there are factors that always come into play as well. External factors like this client of mine. Who would ever predict that coronavirus would literally shut down your physical premises? So, I'd be very wary of anyone in business, truthfully, that was guaranteeing your results, whether it's from marketing or any component of your business. Facebook ads, people can't guarantee results.
Yeah.
And, you can look at someone's track record and go, there's a really high chance if you work with someone who's experienced and they consistently get really amazing results, there's a really high probability that you'll get them as well. But it's not guaranteed and it is a leap. But usually you do get out of things what you put into them.
Yeah.
And the clients of mine that I see that the magic really happen, they're like, "I do everything you tell me." I'm like, "Good." And I know with my coach, I'm the same. Anything that she tells me to do, I totally just lean into and go for it because if someone's experienced in this space, you just, you trust them and you take their advice.
Yeah, exactly. And how long do we need a business coach for? Is there a like a rule book to it? Like, is it something that you would, you have to spend at least 8 weeks with your business coach, or do you recommend complete ongoing relationships, or have you had clients that have just done a 3-month window with you and implemented the changes that you've recommended, and then they're great and they're good and off they go?
So I believe, like I said at the start, I think you should always have a coach of some form or a mastermind or be part of some sort of coaching environment. That might change over time. So the very first coach that I worked with was fantastic. I really learnt I really learnt the skills of sales and how to sell and how to close a sale with a client. And that was a really important technique and an important skill for me to learn. But I wasn't really vibing in terms of, I really wanted someone that was inspiring me and that was in the mindset space and a bit more holistic. So the next coach that I worked with was someone really like a really beautiful soul that I worked with for a period of time, what you need might change over time. Sometimes your coach will grow with you and you'll be able to work with a coach for years and years. And sometimes, after a 6-month window, you might sort of find that you're going on a bit of a different path. Mostly I find that if someone's working with you and they're starting to get results, sometimes they then think, I've got this, I'll go on my own.
Yeah.
And usually what I see happen is they kind of then plateau because they've got to a level, and that's definitely what happened with me in my business. I was like, I've got this, I don't need any help. And I just plateaued. And then as soon as you start working with a great coach again, you definitely start to see the results start to take off again. So I think that in some form, I would encourage people to always be working with a coach. Maybe it will change over time, maybe it won't. The length of time that coaches work with you will vary as well. I used to do lots of one-off sessions. I do offer a one-off session now, just as a bit of a taster more than anything. If someone's not ready to go and commit to a 6-month period of time, it's more just a one-off. Usually, it's a bit of a pointless exercise. It's like going to a personal trainer once. You might get a workout routine, but you probably aren't going to lose the weight off the back of one session. So I do think if you're going to do it, lean in, make the commitment. And, my packages are 6 months. Different coaches will have different options and different lengths of time. So yeah, if you find someone that, if you find something that works for you, then go for it.
Yeah. And do we need to change coaches? Like one of the things you said before was about finding coaches specific to areas like sales or marketing, or like yourself in the nerdy numbers. But like, do we consider having even multiple coaches sometimes?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do think if you find someone good, you stick with them. You don't want to be, you'll end up with a really choppy strategy if you're sort of jumping from coach to coach. I hire multiple coaches at a time sometimes. So, for example, at the moment, one of the things that I want to do is write a book. So even though I've got an amazing business coach, I am considering hiring a book coach as well, someone who really specializes in that space. You might, want to be launching something online and you want to work with a launch coach as well. So I definitely think that you can work with multiple coaches at the same time. But, I think that having someone who is across all of your business on a regular basis is a really smart idea. And I do think that if you can have some consistency there as well, you'll probably see better results that way.
Yeah, and from what I've gathered from our conversation, a lot of it comes down to the relationship. Like you've said a couple of times, once you find the right person, you
Yeah.
probably want to stick with them, and you form that really close working relationship. So for yourself in your coaching business, relationships is key. It's the number one.
Yeah, absolutely. And like dating, sometimes it takes time to find the right coach and to get that right relationship, that right click.
Yeah.
If you have a bad experience, I say this to people, lots of times people come to me and they've had multiple bad experiences and I'm like, I can't guarantee that this is going to work, and give it a try. But again, think of it like dating. Like sometimes you've got to kiss a lot of frogs to find a prince. So you'll find someone, and when you do and you vibe and you start to see the results, then you'll be like, yes, this is amazing. And you won't want to go anywhere.
And would you recommend, I would actually think in the business coach space, for a lot of solopreneurs, like people that are doing it alone and don't have a support mechanism, like they might be completely, the business is the business, the home is, the family time is all separate, and they wouldn't have anyone that's actually supporting them through their business journey. So that seems like a really good opportunity for someone, even in a small business, to actually reach out and find a business coach that they can work with for that extra support, because they're alone.
Oh, that's one of the biggest things that people say to me. They're like, it's so nice to have someone to talk to who gets it.
Yeah.
Because you go and talk to your partner, and if your partner's not in business, they'll be like, what? Why would you do that? They don't maybe understand what it's like to be inside a business. And having someone who is in the space, someone who understands it, that can really be a massive support. And, I like to say that to people, I become your silent business partner, become the person that you can call and talk to if you ever need someone to chat to, because business is bloody hard. It
It
is
is.
hard. And if you don't have anyone to share it with, then, it can be really, really challenging.
Yeah, exactly. Excellent. Okay. So anything for our listeners in general about, getting a business coach, any final tips or hints that you can recommend for the listeners?
Yeah, I think honestly, I think you should go for it. If you are serious about your business, find a coach and work with them. And if you do have a bad experience, and I've mentioned this multiple times, please don't give up. Maybe you just haven't found the right one yet. Coaching is an unregulated industry. The people who work in it will be extremely different, and that's okay. I used to, when I was first coaching, I used to get so frustrated when I would see some of some of the advice that was getting put out there. I've done 2 university degrees. I've done postgrad qualifications in accounting. So I'm a big believer in the money and, understanding the numbers side of things. But as I've evolved as a coach, I actually realized that there's a place for lots of different people, and what clients need varies as well. And so it's just about finding the right fit. But if you're thinking about it, lean in, ask lots of questions, follow, a couple of different coaches, and and if you're ready, then take the leap.
Yeah. Excellent. Awesome. Well, thank you, Claire. Thank you for your time today. It's been such a great insight for the business coach possibilities for listeners and those that are operating a small business. Hopefully this has brought some value to them, and maybe even taken away some of those fears and concerns that they've had about stepping in for a business coach. So where can we find you, Claire? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, my 2 favorite places to hang out is either over on my podcast, which I very creatively called the Clare Wood podcast, and Claire has no I, so it's CLARE, the Clare Wood podcast, or come say hi on Instagram. I hang out on Instagram a lot, Claire_Wood_co. Come and check me out, connect. I would love to see you over there.
Wonderful. I'll pop those links into the show notes for everyone. Thank you so much. And if you'd like to know more about BizNation, we can be found at biznation.com.au. The website is currently under development, so there's some really exciting things coming that way. And if you're not already a member of the Facebook group, you can find us at Micro and Small Business Support Group. Thanks, Claire. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Kerry.
Thanks for tuning in to the BizNation podcast, your home for small business help. If you're looking for support in business, join us on Facebook, Micro and Small Business Support Group. You can find the link on our website, biznation.com.au. Tune into future episodes for more discussions, interviews, and many hints and tips to get you all set in your business. Until next time, stay safe, stay well.